The chance for tropical development goes higher off the east coast of Florida and the northern Bahamas, and we've got more impactful weather that'll be sweeping through the Caribbean. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We're your home for Caribbean weather. It's fantastic to see you for the latest video. Hey, coming up in this video, we're going to be talking a lot about what's going to be developing here over the northern Bahamas and off the east coast of Florida for the potential for tropical development as we get closer to the weekend. We continue to see a lot of wind and shower activity and some Sahara dust that's been moving across portions of the Caribbean and southern Bahamas. I'll have much more on that in the video as well. Let's get started. Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the law firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys, offering free consultation and policy reviews. They'll walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. Go to leanomulaw.com if you would like more information. Look, I got to be honest with you guys. It's just been one of those days for me. Have you had one of those days lately where things just haven't gone right? That's been the case for me. I know this Band-Aid doesn't look like much, but not that long ago, for a while, this would not stop bleeding. I met the wrong end of a box cutter trying to work on some of the equipment for the channels that we have here across the digital platforms. And yeah, that box cutter met my finger real nice. Just one of those days. So let me hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments section below what's been happening, what the weather has been like. Help out the channel in that way. I'd really appreciate it. Let's talk about the surface analysis. We have Hurricane Flossie in the eastern Pacific, several tropical waves near our monsoon trough. There's a ton of tropical moisture and a lot of wind down in the southwest Caribbean right now. We've had fresh breezes across the Lesser Antilles. We also have a little bit of Saharan dust, but on the way will be a couple of more tropical waves and wedged in between even more Saharan dust. And that's the front that's going to be stalling out over the eastern Gulf and the western Atlantic to potentially provide the opportunity to spin up a tropical system as we get towards the weekend. We'll start with what's been happening today in Florida and the northern Bahamas for us here. The first thing you're going to see is that area is now orange from yellow yesterday, 40% chance of development overall. First of all, still have that broad upper level spin moving away from the area, but it's enhancing the sea breeze in Florida and just the locally heavy downpours that have stuck back into the northern side of the Bahamas on this Wednesday afternoon. Let me bring up the live radar here out of Miami and take off the satellite data just for a second. So once again, numerous showers and storms clustered in the Bimini area, Freeport, Lucaya, west end of Grand Bahama, a couple of scattered thunderstorms near Walker's Key, a few more developing over the Abacos right now. Good spin in the atmosphere. Can't even rule out an isolated water spout. Some of this will try and make a run towards Andros and the Nassau New Providence area, but generally speaking, it's going to be areas to the north here, especially back into northern and central Florida to see the most widespread showers and storms for the remainder of today. Go back over to the satellite imagery here, and again, this activity today is still being brought to us by that upper level spin. Now, eventually this front is going to settle into the area, and that's where we're going to feed off of that and try and wrap something up closer to the 4th of July weekend. I'm going to have a lot more on that coming up, but again, note that it's up to a 40% chance right now. Yes, there's a little area in the far eastern Gulf, but the models are trending farther east into the western Atlantic, either off the coast of Florida or Georgia and the Carolinas, with still some impacts expected for portions of the Bahamas. Now, if you're new to the channel, we have live cameras now at Meteo Mundo. Love to show you these on this Wednesday afternoon. Live look outside for you right now. This is central Eleuthera here in the Bahamas. Fresh breeze there. We've had a couple of showers trying to develop near the Eleuthera area, but generally speaking, it's been relatively dry. My friends who live on Eleuthera, let me know in the comments section below what's been happening in your area. You get a little bit farther south towards Long Island. Again, a couple of decks of clouds out there, but a beautiful afternoon. Temperatures relatively pleasant for this time of the year. Scattered showers trying to develop southeast Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, but again, the moisture is much more limited in this area. When I bring on the water vapor imagery here, you're going to see a little bit of green in the atmosphere. This is not where the concentration of Saharan dust is. It's a little bit farther off to the south, which is why I still think there's the opportunity for a couple of showers as we go through the remainder of the day. I've got the wind gusts on, so at least we haven't had a lot of wind in this area at this point in time. We're trying to pop off a couple of scattered showers over Jamaica today, but as I've mentioned in yesterday's video, now that we're getting a little bit of haze and Saharan dust coming back in, it's a little bit more about the heat for my friends in Jamaica the next couple of days rather than actually getting better downpours. couple of isolated showers and storms, Westmoreland and Hanover parishes for the remainder of the afternoon. Places like the Grill and Lucy probably have the best chance, but I gotta tell you something, it's pretty isolated in nature. This is what it looks like on the visible satellite imagery at the hour for you as well. Go back over to the wind gusts. Now, despite the fact that we don't have a lot of thunderstorm activity, we actually have a fair amount of cloud coverage, and embedded with that again is that Saharan dust layer. Again, not fantastic. Still a lot of wind offshore. We still have the large wave and strong wind advisory towards Pedro Bank, but everywhere near shore right now, that advisory is no longer in effect. A couple of passing showers and a couple of clouds, if anything else, from our friends of the Cayman Islands. Let me reiterate, more than likely just clouds rather than actually some opportunity for some rain. Trying to get a couple of showers to develop at the hour over portions of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. But you can see on the live lightning data here, we've had a couple of strikes north of Santo Domingo for today. But again, starting to see a little bit more concentration of dust in the atmosphere there. Another very windy day across Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. 30, 35 mile an hour gusts from time to time. Aguadilla on over towards San Juan, St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John, the Ponce area. An isolated shower developing towards Mayaguez on the western side of the island. Now, we still have brisk easterly winds out of the low levels. This is still bringing some shallow moisture to the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and the Leeward Islands. Look, I can't rule out a couple of passing showers. It's just going to be really localized, all right? Again, bit of dust, not a ton, just area dependent as far as that goes as well. But there's just not a lot of lift in the atmosphere to take this tropical moisture and give us some good passing downpours. But there's always exceptions to that. Let me take you back to yesterday. This is Isabel Cerny from the Christiansted St. Croix area. Good passing shower there. She snapped that yesterday. And this is what St. Croix saw. You know, fresh breezes, the showers in and out of the area very quickly. And then the real king in the St. Kitts and Nevis area, the rain and the wind. This was a much better tropical downpour. You can see that coming down. So again, localized, heavier downpours, still fast moving, but not extremely widespread here in the Leeward Islands. Appreciate Isabel and the Real King sending in those pictures and videos to help tell the weather story in their areas. Once again, a little bit of a wind towards Guadalupe and Dominica. Antigua, Barbuda for today, looking pretty darn nice as well. Drying out, looking pretty good in St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago. It's easy for me to say when I'm trying to say them so quickly here. Let's get you outside live to St. Lucia, Corinth area. This is about the best we've seen in well over a week or two, where there's not a ton of haze in the sky, a little bit more sunshine outdoor for our friends in St. Lucia. Again, can't rule out a passing shower, but many dry hours and locations. Beautiful shot there for the western side of St. Lucia. Trying to build in a couple of showers on the southern sides of Trinidad right now, but most of the activity is staying towards the mainland. Some of that could sneak up towards Nueva Esparta at the hour. And we're going to be dry in the ABC Islands here, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. Once again, the wind is the biggest story. Aruba's wind gust there in Oranjestad earlier in the day, 36 miles an hour. And we snap our finger, we go live right now to Oranjestad. Again, love this camera. We pan across this beautiful coastline of Aruba. You can still see the fresh breeze. I think since the beginning of June, since we've had this camera, they've been flying the yellow flag out there. Beach conditions are okay. But again, what a gorgeous shot there. You know, kind of hazy sunshine, but a lot more sun than anything else there in the Aruba area. All right, back over to our weather computer here. Here's the flare-up of showers and storms over the southern sides of Central America, Panama, and Costa Rica. Another wet, stormy day. Some of this is lifting up towards the north. It's been a little bit drier today in Nicaragua, north towards Honduras. Still a good wind, though, and some passing showers there. La Ceiba area, 28 mile an hour wind gusts. We've tried to get a little bit of light rain over Utila, Roatan, and Guanaja. We've seen some passing showers trying to develop coastal Guatemala and Belize. But again, you know, for today, we're drying out the atmosphere just a little bit, especially up towards Quintana Roo. And so the rain chance overall is lower. Let's take you to the little Belize area in the Corozal district. Jack Solar sent this picture into me late yesterday. You can see some of the building clouds there in the Corozal district, a little Belize, and some of the passing showers that we've had at Belize. Again, not as concentrated, but still some passing tropical downpours from time to time. Let's get into the forecast, friends. As we do so, this is doing okay. thanks for taking a quick second, liking and subscribing. It means the world to me to do that today because it has not been a fantastic afternoon getting this forecast video for you, but I'm good. Thanks for those who are members. Thanks for those who find ways to support the channel in other fashion. You want to become a member. It's really simple. Just 99 cents a month. You can become a supporter. Custom badges and emojis during our live streams to shout you guys out. You want to be a Team MM member. You get access to exclusive member shorts as well, and that's just $2.99 a month. That is our new member tier. All right. Saharan dust. Once again, big concentration coming into the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic and Haiti as we get over the weekend. Now, it will clear out a bit in the next couple of days, so this really won't begin to move back in until, Friday, Saturday timeframe, but that will begin to limit some of the opportunity for showers there. We're going to put a lot of haze in the sky, and it's also going to make the air quality moderate at best in a lot of areas. So you live in those spots where you see those brighter colors over the weekend, keep that in mind. For my friends in Puerto Rico, what that means is we're gonna get some passing showers for the 4th of July, but then we'll be drying out for the weekend ahead. And I've got your island by island forecast for you guys coming up as well. And we're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna bring up the GFS model. We're going to look over the next couple of days. We're going to talk about what's going to be happening here off of Florida's East Coast, and then we'll get into the extended forecast and what I think is ultimately going to happen out of this. We'll look at the European model as well. So again, this boundary begins to slip into the peninsula of Florida tonight and through Thursday. It's going to stall out, and along that boundary, we're going to start to see some mid to low level rotation potentially beginning to develop. You can see that now even a little bit more defined on the GFS model. Remember yesterday, it was the GFS model that was actually backing off of any development. The European model was a lot more robust. Now they're becoming a little bit more, in line with this 40% chance from the National Hurricane Center. I want to be clear. Again, this is 4th of July weekend in the United States, and the southeast coast and the Florida beaches on the East Coast in general are absolutely packed. If you have plans, again, I never give specific vacation advice, but you need to be aware that we are going to have a much better chance than normal of just our typical summer showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon and a lot of wind along the East Coast. It's not going to be great for the boaters. It's not going to be great for the beach goers as well. 80-90% chance of rain starting tomorrow through the 4th of July and the weekend, and a lot of wind being picked up with this as well. We'll also see high rain chances for the Northwest Bahamas, Nassau, New Providence, and the Andros and Eleuthera areas included, but you get to Abaco, just farther north, better rain chances. Bimini, Grand Bahama, and Walker's Key. I'm going to bring on real quickly here the winds. And again, this is just over the next couple days. This gets us out until Saturday night. And I'm going to take off the formation zone area so you just can see that. The biggest thing, again, is regardless of tropical development, is just the appreciable impacts it's going to have on folks wanting to be outside and enjoy the holiday weekend, especially along the East Coast. Now, there's going to be a lot of rain across Florida overall, but you can see if you notice that these winds here on the model, you get into those purples. These are sustained winds that are 20 to 25 miles an hour. And they're kind of going to be up and down the East Coast of Florida from time to time, and even right along the coast. So we could even have some elevated, surf and sea conditions. I think we're going to get some beach statements, some high rip current risk. Could even get some, a beach erosion and higher tides than usual. Those are all potential situations for us here over the weekend. Now, you don't see a lot of development here on the GFS model, a little bit of a twist at the end as we get into Saturday. Especially Sunday and into Monday, in that 48-hour period, we start to see a little bit more in the way of things wrapping up. We'll go back to that in just a minute, but I want to get back to the rest of the forecast here across our area over the next 3 days. So we'll go back over to the reflectivity. Again, central southeast Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, it's much more isolated to scattered in nature, nothing extremely concentrated. Wind should begin to turn a little bit more out of the south here eventually. That could pull in a little bit more moisture, but ultimately, scattered. I see a little bit more rain come back towards Cuba. I've got scattered showers over the Cayman Islands and Jamaica, but nothing more than that, all right? About a 30% chance for rain. So my friends in Jamaica through the weekend, you should be prepared for many dry hours and locations. Not a lot of rain on the board here. Once again, ahead of the opportunity for that Sahara dust to begin to move back in, beginning on Saturday, we should see improving rain chances, especially on Friday for the Dominican Republic and Haiti. So Punta Cana, Santo Domingo, the Puerto Plata area, Samana Peninsula, Peninsula. Rain chances will be going up over the next 48 hours. That's the same situation for my friends in Puerto Rico and the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Do expect the best chance to be on Friday, 4th of July, and then we'll start to see the rain chances diminish as the concentration of Saharan air layer moves back into the area. But for San Juan and Virgin Gorda and Jost Van Dyke and Anegada, rain chances will be ramping back up. For the Lesser Antilles in general, once again, we're going to have shallow moisture in play. The rain chances overall aren't horrible, right? But they're just not going to be the kind where we're going to get a lot of heavier rainfall, and maybe that's not a horrible situation for you. Still going to be a lot of breeze from time to time. We're going to see some marine advisories, 2 to 3 meter wave height, 6 to 9 feet plus in a couple of areas. And again, the air quality coming back down to the moderate. Now, if you remember the surface map that I showed you at the beginning of the video, there's 2 tropical waves in the southern Atlantic. The next one coming through is kind of going to get smushed by this Saharan air layer. And although we'll see an increase in some rain and a little bit of limited moisture coming back in, this is not going to be the most potent tropical wave to move through this area. It'll spike a few showers here, Dominica South, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, again, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, but not a ton. A couple of scattered showers for Nueva Esparta. I'm expecting a few more showers over the weekend for the ABC Islands, but again, in running this through Saturday night, you don't see a lot there for Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. Still have our monsoon trough here. And we still have locally heavy rainfall for Panama and Costa Rica. Some of that should begin to lift north again towards Nicaragua and Honduras. So slightly building rain chances, especially Nicaragua, central and northern sides of Honduras. This could certainly sneak towards the Bay Islands, coastal Guatemala, and Belize. Not outrageously high, but a little bit better chance there. And my friends in Cancun and Cozumel for the weekend ahead, things are looking really good. Please remember that we still have Hurricane Flossie out here. All right, Flossie is a Category 2 hurricane right now with winds of 100 miles an hour. It is moving away and getting into the cooler waters. And what is this? Again, it's like a factory out there just south of Acapulco, where we could have the 7th named storm beginning to develop here on the GFS model. It's outrageous how active it's been. Luckily this one stayed offshore. There was some heavier rainfall here from time to time, but it's unbelievable. So Flossie, cooler waters moving away, dying. The next one could potentially be on the board here towards the weekend or early next week. Here's your island by island rain chance. Looks like this. For the Bahamas, again, I've got it 50% chance tomorrow, 60 Friday and Saturday. Locally heavy downpours, gusty winds, some rotation with the storms. Can even rule out again a couple of water spouts. Boaters, please be aware. Central and southeast Bahamas, it's a 40% chance for showers, slightly lower in the Turks and Caicos. For Cuba, solid rain chances building beginning on Saturday. Not a lot of rain in the Cayman Islands. Belize City's rain chance comes up just a little bit. You saw that there in the model. And then Cancun and Cozumel mainly dry. Jamaica, it's just a 30% chance for showers. Kingston, Port Moore, Spanish Town, even on up towards the Negril, Montego Bay areas, kind of just scattered in nature overall. Dominican Republic's best chance is Friday. Still decent on Saturday, but we'll start to see again. Okay rain chances, Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands tomorrow. Healthy rain chances on the 4th, and then lower with the Saharan air layer coming back in on Saturday. Bermuda has been mainly dry and will continue to be so. Anguilla's rain chances peak on Friday as well. And again, the Lesser Antilles will feel the impact of the Saharan dust. Rain chances going down some, not crazy low so far, but we'll see by Sunday if the concentration of that dust is enough to even lower it for Sunday. Once again, your best rain chance for Antigua, Barbuda, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, mainly on Friday. Kind of staying uniform in Dominica and Martinique. And then you can see the next tropical wave coming in kind of late tomorrow on Friday. Improves rain chances for St. Lucia and SVG. Let me be clear again, this is not going to be the kind of rain that's going to limit a lot of outdoor activities. Fast moving showers. The biggest thing is going to be the wind. If you're on the windward side of these islands, you're doing a little bit of boating, you're going to see those swells beginning to develop. In Barbados, 50% chance tomorrow, and then lower rain chances through the weekend. Grenada's rain chance peaks on Friday, isolated Saturday. Best chance for rain tomorrow and Friday in TNT, lower on Saturday. Suriname and Guyana stay with some pretty good rain chances. A little bit of a bump in rain chance for Nueva Esparta on Friday, and expecting again rain chances to improve over the weekend beginning on Saturday for the ABC Islands. What do you say we take a look at the overall rain totals expected for us here? Now, I'm going to do something real fast. We took off the, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's take off the formation zone, and then I'm going to take the model and just take it out to, let's go out into Monday, which I think is about what it was anyway, right? So we'll go into this area. Now on the GFS model, and this is what we're looking at, and the European is about the same. Once again, the biggest impacts appreciably here along the Florida East Coast is the opportunity for just some significant rainfall and a lot of wind. And we'll look at the wind coming up in just a second, but you get the idea of what could be falling, right? The cutoff of this heavier rain is the far northwest Bahamas. You know, some of the models that I've seen in model run to run have had 3 to 4 inches of rain in these areas. And other times we've seen the models run 1 to 2, maybe up to 3 at most, right? 25 to 75 millimeters here for our friends using the metric system. 25 millimeters is 1 inch. It's a very easy conversion, but you can see some of the really heavy rainfall off of the Carolina coastline right along this stalled out boundary. Not as much now on the models back into the eastern Gulf, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to have some heavier rainfall inland in Florida towards the Orlando area and even off towards the west coast. So that's where we're going to see the locally heaviest rainfall, building rain chances again in higher coastal Nicaragua and Honduras as well, down towards Costa Rica and Panama. Once again, extremely rich tropical moisture here. There could be localized flooding each and every day. You know the flood-prone areas that you live in, or you know where they are in your area, so just keep that in mind in those spots. And again, even though we have a tropical wave coming in here, we don't have a ton of heavier rainfall for Grenada and Tobago on over towards the Grenadines, Carriacou, and up towards St. Vincent and Barbados. Maybe up to 1 inch or 2, up to 50 millimeters in a couple of spots. All right, so let's get back over to the GFS model. So I'm going to go back here and extend this out to, I think I'm going to take this all the way out to the 11th. And we're going to break down how this is going to kind of evolve. And once again, just take off this potential formation zone. And then we'll take a look at the European model as well. Now, overall, the models are coming up a little bit with potential development. Is this going to be a strong system? More than likely not, all right? But appreciably a heck of a lot of rain over the holiday weekend, and then potentially getting a little bit stronger as we get into Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday as it comes up the Gulf Stream. Again, remember, way warm waters here off of the east coast of the United States with the Gulf Stream waters, and potentially trying to get back towards Bermuda. So I'll be monitoring the situation, but there's not a lot right now to sit here and to point out and say this is definitely going to happen, except for the impactful weather over the holiday weekend in the southeast in the form of the heavy rain and the gusty winds. That's regardless of any tropical development. Let's bring up the winds. So I'm going to do this in a couple of different ways. I'm going to go back over to our wind product. This is going to be your surface-based winds, but I'm also going to bring on the wind arrows here as well. Again, all surface-based. Begin to loop that up as I do so. I'm just going to take that grid spacing and make it a little bit larger. And I did load this up ahead of time, so this should, once it runs through the 11th, pack up pretty quickly for us here. Here we go. All right, so what we want to look for here, is there any counterclockwise twist on the GFS surface model here of trying to spin up a little bit of something? Now I'll let this loop up one more time real quickly here. And then go back. All right, arrows, where are you? Where'd the arrows go? Come on. Let me disable them and bring them back on. Hopefully they'll cooperate. Sometimes with this thing, you have to let it fully load up in the loop, and then you can kind of scrub back and forth through the timeline. So I'm just going to let this go for just a second, but you can clearly start to see northeast coast of Florida, coastal Georgia, South Carolina towards the 6th, which is Sunday, that we start to see a little bit of a spin up right there, right? And then, I mean, there it is right there. And then it begins to basically follow. Now we have numbers. We don't want numbers. What are you doing? And then we start to follow this wind progression up to the north and to the east. If these arrows aren't cooperating, I'll just take them off. It'll be fine. But you got the idea. I wanted to try and show you where that actual spin up might end up being here. And then let me go back here and just loop this up one more time. But look right here. And when you see those whites, those are going to be winds of around 40. So there's your broad spin right there, and then kind of pulling away. Never looks extremely impressive so far on the GFS. The winds might actually pick up a little bit more here. You know, ultimately, right? That's the front coming in and stalling out. And then here comes the actual push of spin off the Carolina coastline and then moving up, right? We'll see. Kind of looks like it's lopsided at this point in time. I can show you what the European model is doing with this, right? You're going to see a little bit more robust activity on the on the European model overall. So here is the 5th into the 6th. You can see a couple of areas of low pressure. Again, this is the ensemble product. So, there's going to be all the different members of the ensembles. And again, kind of pushing off of the United States East Coast, potentially headed towards Bermuda. Again, nothing is set in stone, but we'll have to watch for our friends in Bermuda by mid of next week. But could there be more impacts towards the Carolinas here? Early to midweek, it's a possibility. Now, the European model is also more aggressive at making this a stronger system in a couple of spots. Again, fairly weak off the east coast of Florida over the weekend, and then potentially getting stronger as we get towards Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I want you to notice as well, neither the GFS or the European has anything now in the Gulf. It looks like all the solutions are coming east of Florida at this point in time and moving easterly. So seeing anything retrograde or back build west across the peninsula of Florida and into the eastern or the southern Gulf doesn't look to be a solution that the models are hanging their hat onto right now. Overall, the chance of tropical development, tropical depression or higher from the European model is still in that 60 to near 70% range. It's about the same as what it was yesterday. And again, where's the concentration of potential development? Northeast coast of Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and beginning to kind of move up the eastern seaboard from there. Friends, the situation I'll continue to monitor for you guys. You know that. You can follow us across all social media, the Instagram, the TikTok, X, and Facebook. You want to send me a picture or video, it's mymediamundo@gmail.com. As always, you have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comments section below. While you're down there, thanks for taking a quick second and liking and subscribing after the day I had today. I would thoroughly appreciate it. Please remember, Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. It is storm season and the storm moves into your area. You get damage, hail damage, wind damage, hurricane damage. They'll walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. Friends, have a great rest of your day. I'm back tomorrow with the latest forecast for you across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, right here at Meteo Mundo.